It's live. So, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Hunters Hub. This is your host, Fortuan, for the Game of the Year episode that we're going to be doing. Our top ones. This is a video game podcast born in the Monster community. And joining me tonight, Sasha. How you doing?
Pretty good. Feeling refreshed. Had actual days off and gotten to play video games and filled my whole list. So I'm ready to chat. How are you?
Doing okay. Still in tooth pain. It's been a little while.
Crummy.
Have ibuprofen for it, but that's what we got. I also have somewhere Oragel. I have no idea where I put it, but it's about the worst it's been in the past couple days today. But this is still not near as bad as before I found the medicine. There was a day I had no painkillers, and that was bad. That was
That
real
sounds
bad.
terrible.
And Morg, how we doing tonight?
Oh, I'm still recovering. I mean, it's been super duper busy in all the while that I wasn't here. But yeah, nope, here to talk about video games and maybe a few wild cards that aren't necessarily video games that are on my list.
Yeah,
I think I got about 8 or 9.
I understand that it was kind of a stretch for you guys to get 10 games this year, being busy. And
10 games that I liked that deserve to be on the list.
fair enough. Because like I told you guys earlier, and I'll say this to the audience, I did some math on New Year's Eve. We were talking about the topic of like just some friends of like some games we liked over the year. Between the 69 Switch games that I played, which is actually now 72, and
Whoa.
the 25, which is now 26 games, and then all of the PC games that I played this year, I've over 130 games played. So I had a very heated list for getting on the top 10. I have booted several games out that I truly enjoyed. Not to fill up with like honorable mentions and stuff, but there's a game that I gave 10 out of 10 on Bickering Bucks that did not make the list. The Jurassic World Evolution 2. The Jurassic Park builder that came out in like January, February. It was on my list most of the year, but I couldn't keep room for it. So
And it got edged out.
yeah. And believe it or not, at one point it was at 3. And so I've done a lot of swapping and analyzing my feelings on these games and how they've stacked up over the months that I may have played them ago or recently played them. Because also recency bias is a thing. It really is. Like
Yes.
So here we are. We're going to do like we said, 10 through 6 tonight, with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 being next week. And we're also going to do our true honorable mentions. Like I said, Jurassic Park isn't even on the honorable mentions. So it's just gone. So that's one example of many of the great games that I played this year. So if we have time left over next week, maybe we can talk about some other things that we did this year that wouldn't exactly fit. But it's sounding like that's mostly going to be me because you guys were, you didn't have as much time to play.
No, I did a little more reading this year than I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely watched a lot of movies and TV.
So. Yeah, and we'll have to do that too. We'll have to do like an other media best of the year because I think there's some great things to talk about there too.
I agree.
Just make January the 2022 year in review. Skip the quiz for now because we've done a lot of those. So without further ado, who would like to start us out tonight
Hmm.
with our number 10, quote unquote?
Ooh.
I go first. My number 10 is my only like not a game, kind of
Sure.
a game asterisk. And it's Duolingo. And the
Okay.
reason why I'm considering it a game is that
I actually
like
don't know what it is, so I'm trying to.
Duolingo is an app for your phone that teaches you a new language.
Okay.
Or in my case, has been maintenance of the 4 years of Spanish that I put in high school and now have been digging out. So, like, to kind of show you why I'm calling it a game, this is like my game map. This is all my like
Oh.
completed levels. Gives you percentages. There's different kinds of like mini games. You can do personalized practice. So yeah, that's a real bitch because it's the same errors I make all the time, and just get to make them more. And then there's like flashcards to do vocabulary matching and as fast as you can possibly go. There's something called Ramp It Up. So each level gets progressively harder and it's focused in whatever your current lesson is. So right now, I'm brushing up on the difference between Sarah and a star, to be and to be,
Oh.
in Spanish.
So the tenses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
I think it deserves to be on my list because I've played it every single day. I'm on a 401 day streak, so I technically have been playing it every day since the previous year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the one thing that I make time for every day is Duolingo.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah.
That's a good
achievements?
choice.
That's the big question. Are there achievements?
Yes, there are achievements.
Okay.
So
that is a
there's-
Sasha game right there.
Yeah, I do have almost all the achievements. So there's leveled achievements. They start out at level 1 and they can go all the way up to level 10. So some of the things I have already completed, like I've made it to the Diamond League, which is I've accumulated enough experience within a week that it moves you to a new leaderboard.
There's
I've
even
got-
leaderboards. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
leaderboards and how much you like time you want to put in. Like I have a badge called the Weekend Warrior because I completed lessons on Saturdays and Sundays. I have Sharpshooter. You've completed 100 lessons with no mistakes. So the only ones I have left right now are timed challenge experience and learn 1,000 new words in a single course is the last one I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's free too. I mean, it really wants me to pay for the Super Duolingo, but I don't need to. I'm good.
Gotcha.
I'll just watch the app a day. Like
I retained a lot of my Spanish because my ex-wife was Hispanic. So her family kept that sorry, got some caught in my throat. Kept the Spanish skills up high, although they didn't speak the kind of Spanish that you learn in a classroom. There was just straight up different words in some situations. There was different pronunciations. So like they always made fun of me how I said K, because I say it K like the letter K, because that's how I know it. And they're like, no, it's I can't even do it because it'll sound like K to me. Like they're like, no, it's K, and I'm like, but that's what I said, K. Like I don't like. I guess there's some inflection there that I am missing, or
yeah, it's like something that they're doing differently with their mouths that we just have not been socialized to do.
right. So
I think it's like pronounced like okay.
yeah, I think it's a little shorter than it's okay. Like that. Mork, you're probably right, but for me, I could not get it for the life of me. So that's pretty cool. That's That's a gamification of learning a language. That's a good one.
Yep. They know how to reel me in. Achievements. They harass me too with push notifications. If I don't do my Duolingo early enough in the day, I get an email about it. Like, hey, your learning streak. You want to see that continue, or you just gonna throw it away?
Starts taunting you. Do you want to be worthless today? I don't think so. Do your lesson. Like, geez, Duolingo, you're aggressive.
Yeah, no, for real. I've had days where I'm like, I'm so tired. I worked all day and I get home and I'm like, okay, Duolingo, please don't be disappointed in me.
That's hilarious. Oh man. Okay, so Duolingo. I might try that one day if I get the gumption to learn another language. Although
You can learn any language on there. They have more than just real languages too. They have like High Valerian and Klingon. Whatever.
yeah, I'm not doing the Klingon. I don't. I will never do the Klingon. My girls asked me what Klingon is the other day because what's the Weird Al parody? They see me mowing my front lawn, White and Nerdy, and I had them listen to White and Nerdy because I found a new favorite song. I don't know if you saw in the Discord. It's called "F with an Anchor," and it's hilarious. And it's a song that the chorus says about 15 F words. So I decided to show them White and Nerdy instead of that because that was on my playlist. They're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Let's see this instead." So, but yeah, it's a hilarious song. So Morg, what's the first thing you want to talk about?
So, okay, well, I actually just not a few moments ago just updated my list, and so for my number 10 spot, I think it's probably going to have to be Monster Hunter Rise. Sorry,
Oh.
Rise. I mean, like, it's
Wow.
a good game. Like,
You played it a lot
it's not
too.
bad. I did play it quite a fair bit, but I mean, like, in all honesty, I think that
Now, are we talking Sunbreak specifically, or just Rise and Sunbreak, or?
I think as like on the whole, yeah. Including the expansion, I think that it didn't. Yeah, like you've mentioned before in the past, like it doesn't grip me as much as it used to, and it's probably because I'm suffering from severe burnout from Monster Hunter. It's a good game, but it kind of feels like it's pretty much a lot of the same old for me. And in this game, like, I hadn't a chance to really like branch out and like play as many weapons as I would have liked. Mostly because I would have been too busy working on trying to build like a meta set for for the weapon that I was playing with in particular. And it was mostly just fishing around for a lot of things that were largely RNG based. And at some point, I think I just got super exhausted with it, and I just, I haven't really been keeping up with it. And so it was just one of those games that, I appreciate it, but it kind of has to go onto the back burner for now until I can find something that's, a little bit more fresh, and it's not me playing the same game over and over and over again.
Sure. Yeah.
But it does deserve a place on the list.
Yeah. I mean, it is a great game. Like, I don't disagree. So yeah, Sunbreak, it's a good one to have on your list. Maybe we could have got Sasha on there, but we just didn't. She didn't have time. It'd be on that list though. It would be.
You think so?
I'm being hopeful.
Put out the good vibes.
So my number 10, this may be a surprise and it may not be a surprise. I don't know. This is a weird one to have on my list, but here it is. Power Wash Simulator.
Stop.
I'm not surprised.
I
Not even
played
surprised in the least.
I played a lot of this game, and it was the one thing
Stop.
that I could play.
You took Jurassic Park off.
Yes, because Jurassic Park. Okay. Overall, Jurassic Park is a better game. However, Jurassic Park did not help me cope with my grandmother's death this year. And that's what Power Wash Simulator did. That was all therapy. That was like, that whole game was just, I don't need to think. I don't need to be involved with this chaos right now. I just want to hear the sound of rushing water while I clean a dirty gnome statue. Like, that is what I'm doing. Like, it was the therapeutic aspect of this game that elevates it really far up my list. So, number 10, with it being a competitive, like, trust me, I want Jurassic Park to be on there, but, like, it just didn't stack up to what else I had going on. Like, and this one, I think it had to make the list just because of how therapeutic it was for me this year. And it's the one game that, like, kept me sane for that like 2 months that was going on. Because it wasn't just, I mean, yes, I miss my grandmother, but I don't think that it was necessarily the loss. I mean, some of it was, but it was the chaos around her passing away that really just drove it home this year, that it was just not a good time. Like, my mom, who we barely get along with in the first place, went nuts. Like, it's her mom, so she had every right to be extremely upset. However, she did not cope well, and it was affecting others, especially Chauncey and I. We had an emergency point where we talked about moving out because it was so bad at one point. Like, we were house hunting for Chauncey for a couple days and stuff. So, like,
oh wow,
it was a pretty stressful time, and I would come home and play that, and it would be okay for that day. Like, I was cool. Like, that's all I had to do. I caught up on a lot. I'm so far behind on podcasts and YouTube videos these days, but that I caught right up with that. That's how I watched all of Our Flag Means Death. That's how I watched a lot of Blue Bloods during the summer. Like, it was just mind-numbing enough that I could do two things at once and not have to focus on, what was going on. So that is why Power Wash Simulator made the list. So
extremely cathartic is what it was.
Yes, it was cathartic extreme, the game. Like, it's what I needed. It's what I needed at that time. So that being said, number 9, Sasha.
All right, number 9 for me is a game called Coffee Talk, which is kind of just like a little visual novel with very minimal interactions. There's a separate barista mode from the story, but in the story, you are this barista who owns their coffee shop, and it's called Coffee Talk, and it's only open at night. And in this world,
interesting,
it's very just casually known that other races, like supernatural races, exist. So, like, elves and aliens and orcs and succubi and all kinds of different species exist. And you meet a series of different characters that come into your coffee shop that are your regulars. And you're just kind of a casual observer watching their lives unfold. And there's a human in the coffee shop who's an author, and she's writing a book about the people. So she's really nosy, and she asks questions that you are then eavesdropping on to get more information. And you get to make little coffee and tea drinks. It's cute. I like it. So I also played it a lot when Ripley was first born, and it has like an autoplay mode. So, hands free, let that stuff ride, and then it would wait for me when I was ready to make the drink.
Hmm.
So it was nice for when I was busy alone with my kid. Then I let it just sit in my downloaded games for like a year. And
Yeah.
then I decided to finish it this year.
Okay.
Got the end of the story and finished barista mode and unlocked all the drinks. And apparently there's a coffee shop too or Coffee Talk 2 that's coming out or came out. I saw it on actually in the Switch store.
Interesting. Okay.
So
That sounds interesting. Like, that's kind of cool. Well, are
it's
you a
cute little
human
indie game.
in the game?
I don't know what you are.
Oh, okay.
You're
Just something.
just standing behind the counter and you're looking at almost kind of like a comic drawn almost. It's like better than pixel art,
Mhm.
but you're just looking in over the counter and people come into your shop and they leave and they're gone with their lives, and you can pull your phone up and there's like a little social media page when you meet people, and the more that you know them, the more things that open up in their social media page.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that's it. There's not really any like walking around or anything. It's just enjoy the story, the atmosphere.
That's
Okay.
interesting. Okay. Might have to look at that on the Switch catalog. I'm getting through the backlog, but I'm not through it yet, so we'll see. Okay. So Morg, number 9 for you.
Ooh, number 9 for me. I think it would probably have to be a game that I played quite a fair bit of. It was called Grow Castle, where it is a tower defense game on your mobile phone,
Mhm.
where you're literally just building up a castle and trying to make it better and more powerful, so you can survive like waves of like things like goblins and zombies, trolls, and like these air balloons with cannons on them. And it's a really fun game. So like you can hire heroes to be in your castle. You can get specific upgrades for your characters and stuff like that. You can you can get wizards. So like wizards of specific like elements, like for example fire, thunder, or ice. You can get like orc chiefs or whatever. So make it so that like when orcs are spawning in the field, like he'll be able to like command them and then turn them against like the wave and then have them fight alongside you. You can get giants, you can get like witches that spawn skeletons, and I think there's 3 different kinds of witches. So some will have skeletons that have like scythes, some of them will have bows and arrows, some of them will be like mages that
Mhm.
like are just cast into the play and then they'll just spawn for you. You can have it so that you can get like specific buildings with perks that make it so that if you're doing like a spawner kind of deck, and that's
Yeah.
actually what they're called. They're called decks because you can have a specific setup for it. There are buildings like the tavern that make it so that spawners double the number of units that are produced. So you can get like 4 giants rather than having just 2, which
Okay.
basically doubles your DPS, which is amazing. You can go out and you can like attack camps and stuff like that, or settlements. So in that way you can like you can take in like trolls to like mine for you, or no, wait. Yeah, is it trolls? Or is it orcs? No, it's orcs. Or you could attack settlements to get like buffs to like your archers. You can I think use other settlements also to get like gold. It can be a time consuming game, and it's pretty good for the grind, especially if like you're like working towards like just improving your settlement and you're not really like focusing on actually like getting through the waves as much as you're just looking to just make like a certain setup, like and thematically anyways. You can make whatever it is that you want as far as your build. You can make it like fire centric, you can make it poison element centric or whatever. You can literally do like so much. Like I don't think that there's anything I can say to justify just how in depth the game can get. And this is for a game on phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why it's on my number 9 list, and that's probably why it's ahead of Monster Hunters, because it really captivated me when I was playing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Very surprised by it.
to be fair, as much as you are a Monster Hunter fan, it did not seem like you were captivated. So something that grabs you probably beats it. Like, that makes sense. Okay.
Definitely.
So tower defense, I don't lie, really love tower defense. I didn't have an Android back in the day. I didn't have a smartphone, but I emulated one so I could play a phone tower defense game. I think it was just
Oh
called
my-
Tower Defense Robot 3000 or something. This is like way back in like 2010, so like this is a long time ago. I like tower defense, so that sounds fun. Okay. So, what was it called again? Grow Castle?
Yep, and I think it's all one word, yeah.
Okay, cool. Grow Castle. All right. So, for my number 9, I have a recent game that I have finished. And I was surprised. I didn't expect it to make the list, so it had to kick some other stuff off and yada yada. But I'm going to go with Bayonetta 3. That series ended in a spectacular fashion. And I will say ended because Bayonetta is no longer Bayonetta. She is gone. So that is the impression at the end of the story. It was very different for a Bayonetta game in some ways. Now you still had the big flashy stuff, and you still had like all of the I'm naked but covering myself barely with hair. But they introduced kaiju battles, so like
Oh.
there's some moments in the game where you are straight up playing Mortal Kombat as a giant Godzilla, like whatever her what is the Gamora. Gamora is the name of the giant dragon that she summons in the first 2 games. You actually just become Gamora in some of the things and fighting these like 50 story tall monsters. There's a mechanic in the normal fighting where you summon like all the other ones that you summon like just like an appendage of like this giant thing, or I mean you're always like using attacks from these demons as like spells, but you're never summoning the demon itself. And in Bayonetta 3 you can just summon it and it fights alongside you and it fights instead of you for a period of time that you build up with a meter. And it really leaned into that. The weapons in the game have always been kind of, in the series, have always been kind of meh for me. Like, first one, you just have the guns, which is just whatever. The second one, you got a pair of swords. I only use the swords, even though they didn't have range. Like, they were the only things that I felt comfortable with. And this one, there's like, no lie, 14 different weapon sets. And they pair with different demons, and they pair with different mobility options. And like, there was just so much customization on how you want to play. And you can mix and match. And then you can have like 3 different demons to choose from if you don't like during the match. So, and 2 different sets of weapons. So instead of equipping stuff on like your hands and your feet, you would just equip one and you could just switch between the 2. And they had different combos and different mobility. Like the one I like to use, you basically turn Bayonetta into a rollerblade warrior. Like, she just has rollerblades, and you zip around the battlefield and you shoot yo-yos at people that are your roller skates. And it was like this mid-range, like light, fast combo centric style. But then you had something like the Choo Choo chainsaws, and I'm not exaggerating. It was a chainsaw that had train wheels on it, and you would ride it around the battlefield and cut people up, and like, it was just insane. It was like, it was so fun to play with different styles. The story was really good. I I kind of predicted some things a part of way through, but that's because I kind of have been paying attention to the lore and what people are called along the way. So like there's supposed to be a big reveal that like this person is this person's kid, and they had it with this person, and you're like they don't tell you ever because they don't it hasn't happened technically yet in time, but like it's just and they do eventually just tell you, but not like in exposition. It's just naturally told. It's very very hard to find a game whose story isn't just exposition these days, and this wasn't a lot of just info dump. It was just people reacting how I felt like they should react in these crazy situations. Um, it had another like the story surprised me because it starts and ends in the same scene, and you don't realize what's going on until like the last second, and you're like, oh, oh no, okay, no, oh gosh, like you're like, wait, I didn't expect this. So like, maybe other people would have expected that, but the story was a lot better. Like I've always been kind of meh, especially on Bayonetta 1, on the story. I didn't care that much. Bayonetta 2 is a little better, but I didn't really care that much. Bayonetta 3, I was paying attention. Like it like 100%. And it helped that I played 1 and 2 recently before playing 3. I think I played one game between 2 and 3, and yeah, it was a good time. Not going to lie, I shed some tears at the end of Bayonetta 3. Like it was pretty good. So that's why it's number 9.
I'm already sold on just the idea of train saws.
Yeah. Oh no, it's insane, Morg. There's a not only can you summon the demon and do stuff, and the demon is a train that you plot out the tracks on the field, and then also set up
Ooh.
you set up like little not train stops, but they're little poles where when the train hits that thing, it does a different thing, like a cannon shoot or a side swipe, or like you basically just like pause the game, build a train track around the battlefield, and let it go. And that's that demon
Oh my
summon.
god.
Like it's so different between different things. Like, if you're Gamora, you're just like, okay, giant Godzilla monster, let's just fight. Like it's just like just slow Bayonetta, but like the Choo Choo just like totally different, like 100% different. And it actually comes from, because there's like a multiverse going on, and it actually comes from like the pseudo London version of Bayonetta, like the Bayonetta that is from London. So she has like a conductor hat and stuff. It's just so funny. Like
That is hilarious.
and she Bayonetta already has a British accent, but they played it up even more. Like, and I will say, there was all that controversy around the voice actor and stuff being changed, and the new voice actor did a spot on job. It does not feel that different. And we're still trying to do it for Bickering Bucks, so this is a little bit of a spoiler from when we do that episode coming up. But I not only did I really enjoy it, and I was really into it, but like the ending of this game, like I said, it caused me to tear up in some parts. But there's this point where you've been seeing different Bayonettas throughout the whole thing. Like that's how you're getting the different weapons and stuff, and then you're like in the final fight, and you're the last Bayonetta, right? Until Bayonetta 1 steps in with Bayonetta 2. And then you are fighting as Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 at the same time against the final boss.
Whoa.
And I'm like, this feels like some crazy stuff that I am super into. Like they have their weapons and stuff, and like they're like teaming up because they're fighting. They are each other, but in different timelines. So it was really good. Like, it was insane for that kind of game, and I was here for it. So that's my number 9. So
Good choice.
Sasha, number 8 for you.
Number 8 for me. I really, really wanted for this one to be higher on my list, and so it almost got bumped to dishonorable mention.
Whoa.
Was Saints Row.
Oh, yeah, I understand why. Yeah.
I feel like Saints Row is a yes but game for me. Like, yes, I liked it, but there were some things that were really disappointing about it.
Yes.
I need to go back to it. I think that there's been other games that have pulled my attention, and I haven't deleted Saints Row from my hard drive, but I just keep looking at it and I'm like,
Yeah, not today. Yeah.
yeah, not today. It's not really what I want. Some positive things to say about it though. It is really good fun mayhem. I really did enjoy being able to put a towing cable on any vehicle that I want and to use it while my vehicle is in operation. You know, like when the police are pursuing you, just shoot a towing cable out at their car and then
Mm-hmm.
just shake their car around the road while you're driving.
That is the whole entire concept is why Just Cause is fun. Like that's the
Yeah.
whole entire concept. So I get it.
So that part was cool. I also learned that certain challenges unlock more music. Not that there's that much more music. The music soundtrack is still a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
I would like to see some DLC, some actual DLC, and not just like skins.
Yeah.
Different customization options, but like maybe, I don't know, soundtrack, more music, more radio stuff to be added. Like for a game that boasts the size of the sandbox, you really don't give us a lot to listen to for very long.
Sure.
So I as a person who enjoys Fallout and the radio, it does get repetitive after a certain amount of time. I think that Saints Row gets repetitive sooner, and the songs are not as enjoyable as the music in Fallout.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
I mean, I think I had booted up to play after about like a month. There had been a pretty substantial patch, and a lot of the like bugs in bugs that came out at launch. A lot of that got fixed, and so I think it is a well done game. It's just it fell short of what I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Saints Row. I do remember you being mostly disappointed with that, so I'm surprised it's on your list, but
it almost got the dishonorable mention. It almost did. But
I will say that my number 6 is in the same boat. My number 6 is almost in the dishonorable mention slot.
Like, I've put a decent amount of time into Saints Row. If you ask my TA list, I think Saints Row came up at like number 3 most played for me. But just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So number 8, Morg.
Okay, so my number 8 is Sinking City, actually. Now, this is a kind of game where you play as like a detective, and it kind of has that Mass Effect dialogue options for you. Or like, what was that other game? I can't remember. It's the one where you play as that 40s detective, and it was pretty
L.A.
popular.
Noire. L.A. Noire.
I think that was the one. Yeah. It has that similar dialogue option for you, but it's set in a Cthulhian
I
world.
figured with Sinking City and you, I figured that was Cthulhu. Yeah.
Yeah. It is actually like it's a pretty decent game. Like and you have like as a detective, you have to collect a whole bunch of information, and then based off of the information that you have to you have to like sort of compile all the data that you have, like all of the, like the matching pieces that fit together, and based off of that, make deductions off of what people tell you, what information that you're able to gather for yourself. Like going to a crime scene and then like seeing like what exactly happened, and then going after a trail while it's still hot, and then ultimately like coming up with like all the information that you need to in order to be able to complete a case. It was a pretty fun one. Like I think the first mission that you do right off the bat, you have to find like I think it's the mayor's kid.
Mm-hmm.
This is like half gorilla, sort of simian, or whatever. Apparently, they have like a bit of a feud with these people from Innsmouth, who are fish people, and
Okay.
yeah, like you end up finding out that there was like some weird sort of like psychic spike that was caused by an elder god or whatever. Everybody was freaking out. They panicked. Whatever. One of the Innsmouth guys was armed and he shot the guy to defend himself, but then he took it too far. Chased the guy down into like this into like some, I think it was like a butcher shop or whatever, and then like I don't want to give away any of the gruesome details, but you end up finding the body.
Finish the job.
You know exactly what happened, and then you just and then you just have the guy arrested or whatever. After you find the guy after he's committed the crime, you know exactly where to look for him. You can either choose to confront him or have him arrested or whatever. It's entirely up to you what kind of decisions that you want to make as the detective in the series. So I'm really surprised at how much option that you're given. And the funny thing is that you're paid in bullets in this game, because currency doesn't matter as much in this place. It's like based off of a loose barter system, and
Okay.
with the world being inhabited by all these dangerous things, bullets are very valuable. So you can use them for currency or you can use them for self-defense. Either way, they're extremely valuable. So they're a highly sought after tradable item.
Okay.
Very good game.
The Sinking City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It loses a lot of like the scare factor in it, because it almost feels like it normalizes a lot of like the abnormalities, like the misshapen people, all of like the deformities and all the mutations. It normalizes it a lot, so it's not it doesn't carry the same level of like H.P. Lovecraft horror, like cosmic horror elements to it, but I would still say that it is a relatively good game.
Okay.
Sounds a lot different than what I thought that game was, because I saw the trailer for it and I thought it looked cool, but what you're describing sounds like those Sherlock Holmes games, but in like Lovecraft lore.
It very much is like that. Yeah, it feels more like a Sherlock Holmes game than it does like an H.P. Lovecraft game. I mean, there are some sequences where you do have to defend yourself against like monsters and stuff like that, and you do have to pull out the gun and protect yourself. I think that maybe Call of Cthulhu maybe grasped that horror element a lot better than Sinking City, but I don't think that Sinking City in that regard is a bad game. I don't think that it's the best well executed Lovecraftian themed game, but it is still a really, really good game.
Okay. All right. I will say I did play a Lovecraft game this year, but it was different. It's a boomer shooter. It's not on my list though. So.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look it up more, it's called Forgive Me, Father. But
I've heard of that game, and I know exactly what that's like. I think it's like a top-down view.
No, it's first
shooter?
person.
No?
It's first person.
Oh, okay. Then I'm thinking of a completely different one then. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, it's fun. But it's not on my list, so I won't talk about it. So my number 8 is Pokemon Violet. I will say,
Ooh.
um, I had high expectations from this game because of Pokemon Arceus, or Arceus.
Yeah.
Um, but in a lot of ways that it disappointed, it surprised me in other ways. Um, this is the first time since since I started, Bug Trainer Cham back in Pokemon Black and White, uh, that I broke away entirely from the Bug Trainer Cham and picked no bugs, and I had no bugs on my final team. Uh, Now
Wow.
I still like bug Pokemon. I still think that they're probably my favorite type. However, the bug Pokemon in this game suck. Except for Frosmoth. Frosmoth makes a return, but I did not use it because there was a much better Pokemon that filled my ice roll, and that was Baxcalibur, which is just Godzilla. He looks like he's from Godzilla. Like the Pokemon designs in this one were amazing. I really liked Fuecoco, the fire starter, since it was announced. I don't know why I attached to it. I've never been a fire starter fan. I've always been the grass type, like every time, except for the very first time I played Pokemon. I didn't know you could actually change your choice. I picked it and was like, I guess that's the one I got. Like, I got a Charmander, and then uh, went with it my first playthrough. But subsequent ones I picked Bulbasaur. So Fuecoco, him being like a singing mariachi alligator was hilarious to me for the second evolution. But then he turns into this singing Death Gator in the last one because he's a ghost fire. And he's got this little happy little firebird on his nose, like the birds that pick alligator teeth clean. And
Yep.
its move, Torch Song, is a magical mic pops up, and the bird becomes the microphone, and it sings into the bird, which becomes this flaming eagle that knocks into the other. Like, the new moves in this thing are just fun, and it's a good move. Like, it's a special fire move that boosts your special attack, so it just gets better. Like, I had so much fun just playing the game as normal, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't like a straight up easy game. I don't normally enjoy open world games. It takes a lot for me to enjoy a fully open world. Um, I think Breath of the Wild is the one that pulls it off the most that I enjoy. And then this one being fully open world caused some serious problems for me at one point, where not like gameplay problems, but like um trying to take on the water gym too early as Fuecoco, um that kind of thing, because I
Ooh.
was like, that's the gym. So I it wasn't even the water attacks, it was the stupid they have Diglett, now they have Wiglet, which is the water type that was like this sandworm. Like, so the Wug trio was just like three of them that come out of a rock, and it has this stupid ability that when you hit it with a physical move, you're slowed. It's got this sticky stuff on it. It's like sticky goo or whatever is the ability. It slows you down. And then all it used was headbutt. So like I was just flinched to death for 4 Pokemon. So like I had to like I just like I was like, what can I do? Like um I had an amazing team that changed up. I love the new legendaries. There's 4 dark type legendaries. You got to find these weird stakes out in the world. And then one of them's a ground dark, and ground was like one of my real missing spots in my. I needed a rock or a ground, and I wasn't really as much as I love Toad's-a-Cruel, which was another one of the fake Pokemon that I really liked because it's a walking
Mm-hmm.
Tentacruel on land. And the Totacools, they're so funny. You see them walking around the world, and they just get scared, and they're like, beep, 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 and they just run across the field, and you're like, yes. Like, the fact that you could see all of the Pokemon outside, you didn't have to, like, you would still engage. If you touched them, you would still go into like a battle sequence, but you could see them all. I think that was a huge innovation since Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu that has stayed. I think it
Yeah.
was good that we kept that. So there was a lot of cool things that Arceus did as well. I just wish it went as far as Arceus did, right? Like, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's Violet was like the new generation, but the new generation with the new mechanics was one in my head, and it really wasn't. It's like if you're talking about like evolution of mechanics, it's behind Arceus, but it's the stepping stone from Sword and Shield to Arceus. Like, it's a very weird point because it feels like it came before it, but it actually came after it. And I don't know, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it despite the straight up 5 full game crashes I've experienced and other bugs. Uh, at this point, though, I'm pretty resistant to the games having bugs and stuff. Me playing World of Warcraft lately, bugs happen in that game too. It's just a thing. You deal with it. You move on. Like, that's been my mentality now. Um, but that's going to come up in my next game because it is bug free entirely, excluding one minor one I found. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll move on to number 7 for Sasha.
Number 7 for me is another little indie game called Immortality.
Okay. Oh, I saw this on some people's lists as number 1.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about it because I think that what makes this game really great is kind of going in without too much expectations and letting the mystery unfold in front of you.
Yeah.
The discovery. I am not a person that often feels shocked.
Sure.
I'm a person that actively watches most TV shows and movies because I want to solve it before I get to the reveal. So this is a game that I got caught off guard for sure. I went into it blind. I was expecting it to be like like what happened to this actress who went missing, and it more of like, why is this actress still alive in every movie that's been released in every decade? So there's 4 movies that you get all these like movie reels. You start off with one clip, and you can pause the clip at any time, and you can select something from the screen. So like you can select a person's face, or you can select props, or you can select like the sun or something, like something in the imagery, and it will automatically jump you to another clip that has the same image in it. So sometimes that's from the same movie, and sometimes that was jumping to one of the other 4 movies. And the objective is to be able to see and unlock all of the film reels for all 4 movies, but also what I learned after playing for like 5 hours, that there were hidden scenes when you rewind. That's like overlaid over the film. So then I started going back and rewatching other scenes because I'm like, I missed stuff. I had been playing for like 5 hours. I had unlocked probably like 30 or 40 different scenes.
Yeah.
And when I learned that there were hidden things, so then I started going back and finding a lot of really sketchy things in the hidden reels.
Yeah.
And you learn why she looks so young,
Mm.
and why the game's called Immortality.
Got ya.
So it's pretty good though. It not one to play in front of children, that's for sure. It
Okay.
is full. It's a full motion video game, and it's full frontal nudity in there. So
Oh
Okay.
dear.
yeah, yeah. So
Speaking of which,
if you
there's I don't know how it came up, but you that something I don't know where it came from, but someone said something about a succubus, and my kids were asking what that was, and I was like, oh, it's just it's a demon that is it tries to tempt you. It's a tempting demon.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
that's the way I
Mm-hmm.
described it. Yeah.
Yep.
They bait you with cookies.
Sure.
That's one way to put it.
Oh man. So okay, so immortality. Yeah, I saw this so there was a video I watched of Maximilian Dude's top games, and he was like talking about how Elden Ring won like across the board like 168 different best game of the year awards. Uh and then God of War was like 35, and then Immortality was the next one at 2. So like or something like that. Like I was like, "Okay, cool." So,
Yeah. It it was really surprising. Again, another game that I just kind of played on a whim. It's on Game Pass.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Why not? Let's try it. And then ended up like, don't talk to me. I got to find out what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting sucked into it.
Okay. All right, Immortality. I did not play that one this year. That one was like people talking about it in award season, and I'm like, I don't even know where this came. I remember you did play it, but like I was just like, oh, okay. I did not expect that to be so good. So here we are. Morg, you're number 7.
Oh boy. Okay, so for number 7, that's not the right thing. Okay, you're wait. Yep. For number 7, I am going to pick Mario Party 7
Interesting.
because I played a good amount of that with the girlfriend and her brother. Yeah, we just happened to have a GameCube out, and so yeah, we were playing that a good couple of times. And I will admit, I hate Mario Party. Not because it's a bad game, because I'm bad at it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's largely luck based entirely. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it is so luck based.
My daughter cannot handle that. She freaks out on the luck stuff. Like she yeah. Emery,
Yeah.
the agent of chaos, loves it. Everything. Stealing stars, stealing coins, flipping people
No.
around.
That's like, no.
It's such a mean game.
Want to like break the indestructible system when someone steals my stars.
And then Cece flips out and she cries and she screams. I'm like, it's just a
Same.
game.
Same. So I don't play games of chance.
It's one of those games where like you get nothing but like a whole bunch of low rolls, and then you just decide, you know what? I'm just going to just spend all my coins to just drop this trap down, and then because I'm never going to be able to get to like this point. Like I'm never going to roll an 8, or I'm never going to roll a 7 in order to be able to afford getting the star. So I just sink all my stuff into a trap to set for somebody behind me. They jump over the trap. They don't get hit by it. I roll an 8. I go, no, I don't have enough for a star. Oh, well, I could never predicted that. Land on the next square, jump over, whoo, Missed out on another opportunity to be able to do well because then I end up on somebody else's square where they had activated somebody else's trap, end up getting activated with that trap. I'm like, oh man, all on one roll.
Yeah. Yeah. We when the girls were over, we played Life 2, which is this like a board like video game version of the board game. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, CC was mad the whole time. The game is pooping on me. Blah blah blah. Like just screaming, and she got first. And then I was like, "So what was all that screaming for? You got first. Like I was dead last." CZ.
Sounds like she was experiencing life as it was intended to be experienced.
I always pick Waluigi because Daddy Longlegs always gets me through.
Wow, please don't ever say that again.
Daddy Longlegs. That's a creepy pasta by itself.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's actually a couple of maps that are pretty great. I hate it whenever Bowser time comes up and then he just completely screws everything up for everybody. And then like at like the very last like couple of rounds, they'll see like the current rankings of all the players, and then whoever's in the last place, Bowser will give them some sort of an assist or just like a general debuff to everybody, and it's just to screw everybody over.
Yep.
It is. Oh, I hate Bowser time. If they could take Bowser time out and like that element out of the game, I bet you it would be a great game. But no.
Just play Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. There was no Bowser time there. I don't think.
Yeah, maybe I should do that.
It's on the.
I wonder if Donkey Kong was a feature in those earlier games, because I remember like the Donkey Kong games are really, really fun. They're great for getting coins.
He's most of the time a player in the early ones.
Yeah. In number 7, I don't think he's a playable character, but yeah, as far as I've seen so far.
I could be wrong.
Oh,
it's been a long time.
I would say it's a really good game. Yeah, great party game.
So Mario Party
Obviously.
7. Hate your friends, hate yourself. There you go.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hate life. Play this game.
So I talked about bugs. I experienced exactly one bug where in this game, so my number 7, where I came up with a codex entry and I hit the button to see the codex entry as it popped up. It's like, hey, you can see this button and go there now. And it was blank. And then I got back out of it, went back in, and the codex entry was there. It's the only bug I've seen in this entire game. But for me, this is the one game I haven't finished yet, and I put a ton of hours into it recently. 38 hours, God of War Ragnarok. Haven't finished it yet. Like I said, 38 hours as of right now. I put in 7 today, I think. Quite a bit of time this holiday season putting into this game. I'm not going to be 100%ing this game. It's just not going to happen. I do not feel like searching around for those stupid green crystal crows that you got to kill. Like, I'll kill them as I see them, but I am not searching every map all over again just to find one little green guy to shoot a spear at. The game is excellent. The story is excellent. Seeing Kratos as a character develop is excellent. Learning how so in the last one, he's sort of moved on from being the God of War, and he's sort of trying to teach a better life to his son, and that's still kind of the theme in the second one, except his son is sort of like growing up and doing his own thing and moving on. That kind of feeling as a parent, I guess, is what they're getting at, which I don't have yet. My girls are too young. But he starts to feel like he has to go back to his old angry ways. So like he's struggling with his own anger directly instead of focusing it into something else, like actually having to confront the things he did as the God of War in Greece. They don't really talk about what happened to Greece a lot, but then I got this little interesting line of dialogue how Greece is just gone. Like something happened. So, like, that's why he's in the north, because, in the Norse mythology, because apparently all of the Greek mythology is dead now. Of course, Kratos did kill most of them. Like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he killed most of them. But it's also really cool to see, like, a lot of the Norse mythology stuff, like the wolves that chase the moon, that kind of stuff. Like the one that chases the sun, the one that chases the moon around the world. You actually meet those wolves. You meet Fenrir, the giant wolf. You meet... in the first one, you had Jormungandr, who was the world snake. And like that, you get to see him again. Like there's all these really cool mythology things from Norse mythology that get tied in. Some of the boss fights are this game's difficult. So there's like multiple difficulties. There's like give me story, give me balance, give me death, and then give me God of War. I'm on give me balance. So like for me, right, usually when there's 4 acceptable difficulties, I like to think that I'm at what I call the ultra violence player, who plays at not normal, not hard, but very hard. I like to think that I am that person. However, the first time going through a game I don't know mechanics on it all that well, I normally go for normal. Yeah, this game's tough. I'm never going up on difficulty on this game. Like there are but like they call these berserker graves, where you summon the soul of a berserker and you have to fight them. And there was one, it just had a skull for its health bar. And I'm like, what's that mean? Hits me once, I die. And I'm like, nope, not fighting that one. This is part of the reason why I'm never... Well, it's because I'm under-leveled. It's really weird. It's got this gear progression leveling system. So the better your gear, the higher your level is. Sort of your average level.
Okay.
And if you don't have a high enough level, things just kill you if they're too far out of your league. So, like, I'd have to go all the way back to the... It's also Nordic. Svantelheim, which I think is the Dwarven realm. And I'd have to go all the way back to that one spot just to fight this thing that I found, and it was too hard for me at the time. And I was like... And they're like, yeah, do this after you clear the game. I was like, I'm sorry, kids. I finished this game. I'm putting it down. I got too many other games. Like, I'm not doing post-game content. This isn't a thing. Like, so... But that said, there's a lot of content and a lot of story to get through. It's really interesting. I love the side quests. Like, there's a lot of stuff where you're just sort of... Like, there's this sentient talking squirrel that projects different aspects of his personality out of himself. So, like, he's like, being too anxious, so he just projects his anxiety out, and there's this blue, anxious ghost squirrel that is like... You don't like me, Kratos? And he's like, I don't care about you either way or the other. The squirrel's like, oh, I see. So we don't care each other. And it's liberating. And he's like, and then the squirrel's like, F off, I love you. And he's like, it's because he's anxious. He doesn't know what to say. And then, like, it's just so funny. Like, there's, like, a lot of, like, really cool storytelling, but then there's good comedy. The boss fights, like the story boss fights, are insane. So you at one point you fight Heimdall, and Heimdall is one of the gods that he can see everything before it happens. So has like this instant clairvoyance. So like Atreus, the son, tries to fight him earlier in the game, and you can't hit him. Like, he just knows what you're doing. So it's like input reading, like on a fighting game. So it'll like dodge this way and dodge that way. Like, you can't hit him, right? And then you fight him as Kratos, and you have this special spear made to kill gods, and Heimdall's like, pfft. Like, you throw it at him, and it's weird. It was made out of a ring that produces infinite copies of itself. So you produce infinite copies of this spear, so you can always just throw a spear. And forever is there. And then you can do this input to explode the spears that are out there. So the Heimdall fight, he's like, see, I'll just catch all your spears. He's like, ha ha ha. And then you do the explosion input, and he's like, boom. And he's like, oh, I didn't expect that. And then, like, it's just crazy. It's just, the game is bonkers as far as, like, the things that happen. You end up taking Fenrir's soul and putting it into a different wolf's soul. And you end up, like, you kill Nidhogg, like Nidhogg that eats the world
Really?
trees. Like, you have to kill Nidhogg, and then you have, because you killed Nidhogg, because Nidhogg is the one that eats the roots, so the tree doesn't go out of control. You have to save all of its babies. So, like, you have to go around the world finding Nidhogg babies and capturing them. You get to fight dragons. You get to fight, like, they have actual, like, Nordic wyverns, which is really cool. You get to see some crazy monster designs. You got to fight werewolves that, like, do stuff. And I mean, God of War finishing moves are a thing, right? Like, that's part of God of War. And yeah, it's just really good. I really like the characters. They're really, especially Mimir. And Mimir is just the guy who's just ahead from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just strapped to your buckle on the back. And there's a line of dialogue. It's like, Mimir, don't you want to see where you're going? Why don't you want to be strapped on the front? And he's like, well, there's a lot of bouncing around, and it sort of rests between the legs. And yeah, I don't want that. Like, they talk about, they tried that once, and Mimir kept getting his face in Kratos' crotch, and like, it's stuff like that. Like, I was like, that's fun. Mimir's a really fun character. He's supposed to be the smartest man in the world, but, like, they make fun of him for, like, not knowing things, and it's great. It's been a really good game. I haven't finished it yet, but like I said, there are other games for it in front of me because A, I haven't finished it, and B, it does frustrate me. I do have some fights that I have to try like 15, 16 times because I just can't do it. Or I'm not geared enough, and I'm making it too hard on myself or something. So, but it's good. So that being said, we are down to number 6.
We are. Number 6 for me is Weird West.
Okay.
So
this is one I
have
played.
not beaten this game yet. I haven't beaten it yet. I feel like I'm disappointed in myself mostly that I waited so long. So I think if I played it earlier in the year and put more time into it, it probably would be higher on the list. But I really like it. I love all the, like, supernatural stuff in it. I like the that there's some reward to searching nooks and crannies. I like just reading little slivers of information and getting world building bits from that. And I don't know, it's the game it was made for me. I just haven't put enough time into it, I think, to fully appreciate it. I have a feeling we'll see it on the list again next year.
Okay. It's one that I am tempted to go back and finish at some point, honestly, because it wasn't like it was bad, but there were so many other things. I think that was one of the games that I put down because I was waiting for Monster Hunter to come out. So we'll see. We'll see if I go back to it or not, because like I said, the back catalog is ever growing. Although I got nothing from Christmas or anything that added to the back catalog, other than the fact that I'm in a raiding guild in WoW now. That
is the back catalog. There it is.
Yeah. No, I did put some time into it, but I have been taking breaks from it because I am at a point where I do weeklies twice a week, and I do the raid, and I think that's it. I'm done. Like, I've maxed out my professions. I've done every little weird thing. So days like today, I don't think I'm going to be playing, if at all. So
good for you.
But Weird West, it is a good game. I do love the Vulture Kicker achievement. That's hilarious.
I did get that. I did vote for that. For on True Achievements, they have their like achievements of the year and things like that. I voted for that as the most clever. Although I unlocked an even funnier achievement
Oh,
yesterday in a different game.
okay.
I'm gonna wait. Are we doing dishonorable or honorable mentions tonight?
Honorable. Honorable.
Okay, I'll wait because it's
Okay.
in my honorable mention game, so I'll wait.
Yeah, because after the 6, we're going to do our honorable mentions. And then starting next week, we're going to start with our dishonorable before we do number 5. And then we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I don't. It was suggested one time that we do like by my friend Jacob. It's like, why don't we do like dishonorable mention just before 1? Break it up. And I'm like, no, I like the momentum. Like, you're like, what's their number 1? We got number 2. What's their number 1? And then you're like, dishonorable mentions. Like, what? No. I hate when people do that. So we're gonna break it up between because it's ending the episode and starting the episode. It's a good break. So yeah. So Weird West, which is definitely one I played. Morg, you're number 6.
Well, my number 6 is going to be Donkey Kong 64 because I finally got a chance to play it on a big 80-inch screen TV, and oh my god, is it so fun to play such a low-resolution game on a high-definition TV. Oh, managed to get through, I believe, the first big boss, which is the armadillo with like the side cannons on his thing, whatever.
Yes.
And he does like the big ground pound, and he also rolls around and whatnot. And you have to like pick up, big barrels of dynamite, and you have to chuck them at him. And I've already unlocked Diddy Kong, and we're in the desert map, which is the second map. And I believe from that point, we have to fight like this giant pteranodon thing for the second boss. I don't really remember everything that I need to do in order to be able to unlock it. I'm not sure how to get all the bananas that I need in order to be able to unlock that boss because you have to, I believe, feed the hippo, and like apparently the pig ate way too much, and so you have to feed the hippo like a whole bunch of bananas in order for the scales to fall in favor of the hippo's favor, so the pig can go up and then unlock the key to the boss. Yeah, I know it's a weird game.
It is. That is
yeah.
the collectathon of collectathons too, because
It is. It really is.
Because you're collecting ammo, you're collecting guns, you're collecting characters, you're collecting bananas for each character. By the way, all of these are character based, so
yep.
You have to do it 5 times. And then you also, what are the Jiggy equivalent in this? What are the stars?
Oh.
What are...
Let me see. Well, let me see. There's golden bananas that are
So the golden banana
that are a big one. Then there's regular bananas, and then there I think are let me see. There's map pieces like blueprints for I think like the big killer machine that King K. Rool has that he plans to destroy Kong Island with. So if you can get all the blueprints or whatever, you get like I think more golden bananas that way. Oh dearie me. Yeah, I think you need golden bananas. I think also to, or was it banana coins? I can't remember. Yeah, I played it a little while.
Yeah.
Need to get back into it. But yeah, like there's like upgrades that you can get from Cranky Kong, and then there's upgrades that you can get I think from Funky Kong, I think it might be. The guy who gives you like all the weapons and stuff like that. And then there's Candy Kong who gives you like the musical instruments for all the characters and whatnot. Yeah, there's a lot you have to do in this game.
God, they have the instruments too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that game was too much. Too much. Like
that game had a lot in it to make it just sink a ton of hours into it.
Banjo-Kazooie was the perfect amount of collectathon. Like Jinjos, Jiggies, notes. Like good. And then They went
Donkey
way
Kong
overboard on
64
Donkey
comes-
Kong. Like, way too far.
Yeah.
But okay.
There's it's like 3 or 4 times as many things that you need to get in order to be able to complete Donkey Kong. It's just absolutely absurd, but I love it. It's still one of my top favorite games.
I still want to see this appear on the Switch store, the Switch Online thing at some point so I can replay it, but I'm waiting for that. I'm not hooking up my N64. I'm just not doing it. So, okay, DK64 for number 6. Okay. So my number 6, it's a game that has already been mentioned, but Sunbreak is my number 6.
Whoa.
I put a
Man.
shit ton of hours in this game. I believe I put 700 hours into it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I
Not
am.
even in the top 5.
Nope, it is not. And the reason being, and this was the one I mentioned that almost went to dishonorable mention because I am so unhappy with the end game. I am so tired of
Wow.
their end game. Here's an extra hard monster bullshit. Like, I hate it. I hate tempered monsters. I hate Apex monsters. I hate, like, anytime you take a monster and don't make it a new monster and you just add some stupid mechanic on top of it, it aggravates me. It has aggravated me since they've done it. And people are like, oh no, it's more content. And I'm like, no, it's the same fight. You just added an extra one stupid attack that I have to have some special way of dealing with every time. And like, it's never going to be as bad as 4 Ultimates Apex. Never they're going to be that bad. Hopefully. But
Yeah, that was.
and the problem is, it's a fun mechanic on Malzeno. It's just a mechanic of a different monster, but they just applied that monster's mechanic to everything. And it was part of the story, and I get that, and yada yada, but like, it's not fun to grind that. I am probably going to play. I haven't played the newest stuff. Like, they released 3 new monsters. I haven't played it because I'm like, I don't want to go back and grind that bullshit. Like, and I'm dogging on the 6th game in my entry because it's 6 because I put so many hours into it and I love the new monsters. Like even though I don't like the mechanic being applied to everything else, I love Malzeno as a fight. Malzeno as a fight is amazing. I really love the final boss. I've always been kind of meh on final bosses, but the final boss in Sunbreak is really fun fight. Like, legitimately fun. Because you have to break parts. And that's my favorite aspect of Monster Hunter, breaking parts. So, that helps. But, like, the game is amazing. It's well done. I think I put... I don't know if it's 700 hours, but it was enough to put me from... I think I had 600 hours, and I'm almost past 1,200 hours on the game.
Wow.
So
That's pretty good.
I've put a lot of time into it. I put a lot of time into Sunbreak this year. It was probably the only game I played for a good 2 or 3 months, and then I kept going back to it when different things released, except for this latest one. I have, aside from the 3 monsters I haven't fought, I have crown hunted everything. So I did that. I mean, people, you know, a lot of times they'll kill a new monster to get the gear, and you'll have enough after, like, at max, 10 hunts? 10 hunts, if you don't have all the parts you need, you know, you're making too much gear. You're making too many sets or weapons or something. What was it? Risen Camillus? I had to fight 47 times? 42? 47?
Holy.
Because of crown hunting. And I normally enjoy that. Actually, because Risen Chameleus wasn't that bad. I actually really like him. The Risen monsters, even though they are a mechanic slapped onto a monster that already exists, they're treated like a new monster, and that's okay. They're okay. They're not like, I'm not over the moon by them. But I haven't fought Chaos Gore, which is a returning monster. Haven't done it. I know it's there, but I got other games to play. So that's why it almost hit the dishonorable mention, is that endgame mechanic that I'm so upset about. Like, that's what puts it on the 6 for me. Like, this could have been number 1. You know, if you base it solely on play hours, it is number 1. Like, nothing comes close. But I'm not basing it on play hours alone. It is overall a great game, and I love it. However, I'm just very frustrated with the end game. And we'll see. I don't know if I will finish the end game or not. I keep saying I want to, but then I end up not doing it. So we'll see. So that is number 6 for me. So our last one that we're going to talk about is our honorable mentions. So the ones that just barely didn't make the list or just wanted to give a shout out for whatever reason. So Sasha, what is your honorable mention with your crazy funny achievement?
All right, so it's honorable mention because I started it yesterday.
Okay.
It's called High on Life.
Okay.
And it's like, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. It's like a fever dream. You are this human who, I think you're a teenager. You maybe you're in college. I don't know. But you and your sibling are at home for the weekend. Your parents leave. They go on vacation, and then immediately aliens invade the Earth, and they intend on turning humans into drugs. And
Whoa.
so you like hide. You like hide behind this car, and you're watching this all go down. And it's like really bright, beautiful, like graphics. And they're talking in their alien language, and there's like alien subtitles popping up on the screen, so you have no idea what they're talking about. One of them shoots the other alien, and then they leave, and they leave the alien on the ground. So you can hear this like alien like groaning and moaning. So you go to check on him, and it's the alien's dead, but his gun is talking. So you pick up his gun, and the gun spits in your face, which gives you this like translation ability, and now you can understand what the gun is saying. And the gun is an alien, and the gun tells you what the other alien's intentions are, and the gun helps you hijack the microwave in your kitchen to take your house to outer space. And you are looking for a bounty hunter to help you to get this alien mafia who is going to destroy Earth. And
Okay.
the reason I downloaded it is because I learned that one of the guns is voiced by Tim Robinson, who is like one of my very favorites. He stars in I Think You Should Leave, which is I think my favorite show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Funniest show ever. So I'm like, I felt like it was, my kind of humor. I needed it because I needed Tim Robinson voicing a gun, swearing at me. So I downloaded it. I've played a couple hours now. Here's the funniest achievement. I like actually like howled, took a picture of it, sent it to my brother. I'm like, look at this shit. So you get to the slums of the alien city, and this child alien approaches you and starts like calling you fresh meat and talking shit to you, and it's like, come on, like,
What are you
boss
gonna
up to me.
What are you gonna do about it? Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So I like pulled my gun on him, and my gun's like, you can't shoot a child, and I'm like, I'm gonna shoot this child though. Like he keeps talking shit to me, and the kid's like, oh come on, like, oh you're just not even gonna shoot me though, huh? Oh, all right, fresh meat, and then he pushes me. So I shot him, and then this achievement pops up that says Fallout doesn't let you do this.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's great.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's been
Hey.
really, really funny so far. The game has been hilarious. The guns talk and have commentary like while you're playing. You get like
That's
you
hilarious.
get this like bounty hunter suit with like the equivalent of Jarvis if Jarvis was like made by Wish, and yeah, it's very
Okay.
funny.
I'm looking this up. If it's on PC.
It's on Game Pass, so another reason I got it. I was like, I'll just give it a try. Why not?
Is it popping up? No, it's not popping up on GOG. Oh, that means it's on Steam, and I don't want that. But I'll keep an eye out for it. That sounds hilarious. That sounds awesome. Okay, so High on Life. Morg, what's an honorable mention for you?
Ooh, an honorable mention for me. I feel like it's a game that needs no introduction. It is Freelancer. Yay! The one game that I can't talk enough about because honestly, who doesn't want to play a game where it's like a job simulator in space?
Yeah.
Do you want to buy a freighter and just like, just do like shipping from like importing from planet to planet, buy low, sell high to another planet, because they happen to be low on that resource? You can do it. Do you want to be Han Solo and do you want to be like a bounty hunter or do you want to like, take jobs for the police? You could totally do it. Do you want to be a bodyguard? You could totally do it. Do you want to like blow up the ships of like terrorists and then like capture the criminals and then put them in the back of your ship with a tractor beam? You can do it. Do you end up getting framed by the bad guys who are like a secret Illuminati group that has found their way into like government society or whatever, and they're targeting you because you have an ancient artifact that could stop them? It happens.
Okay. So, what was that game that I played? It sounds like it was our second side quest. So a side quest was the version of Bickering Bucks before I had them on it. What was that called? It was a space game like this where you were a mercenary doing various things, but I can't remember it. I didn't play a lot of it.
And you can like buy all like different models of ships.
We are losing what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Like various different types of guns. You can get like you
Wow.
can get flares, so in that way their homing missiles don't hit you.
Okay.
But you have off of a budget that you have, so however much money that you made, pairs, stuff like that. Okay, well, come on, but yeah, like, there's a reason why even like modern computers, and there are private servers that people have kept alive, just in that way they can keep the online going for it. And this is a game from like 2003. And there are still servers that are up that people keep up because the fan base is just that strong.
Okay. I think it's called Rebel Galaxy.
If you know it, you love it.
The one that it was like
Okay.
this. Rebel Galaxy, I think.
Rebel Galaxy.
If it says, yep, 3 hours, 24 minutes, that is the one. That is how much I played of it. Because I had a lot of...
Oh, wow.
It's pretty much... yours sounds more intricate, but there is some stuff in there. A lot of ship combat stuff. And you do various odd jobs for people in space as a freighter. And you get to upgrade your ship and yada yada. So yeah, it sounds... So Freelancer is the one that you're talking about.
Yeah, Freelancer is it's a game that I don't think you can purchase.
No.
But honestly, it's probably one of the best free games that you can get. That
Okay.
you technically can't play legally,
Gotcha.
but it's
Hey, Diablo 1 was that way for about 6-7 years. There was no legal way to purchase it for a long time. Till Good Old Games has it legally. So you can do that. So, Freelancer, if you can somehow find it. So my honorable mention, and it's tough because I was very inspired by the Pokemon games this year, so I played some different Pokemon genre games. There's one I'm currently still working on called Nexomon. It's not as good, but the one that I really want to talk about is Monster Sanctuary. And Monster Sanctuary is an indie game that you play as sort of like this weird monster tamer society who's trapped in this island that has monsters, and the outside world are just normal people supposedly, but in this world there's magic and monsters, and your starter is a talking fox frog or something else. They don't
so a Frox.
No. There's different ones. So your green one is a frog, your fire one is a fox, your water one is some sort of, I don't remember. It's been a while. I played this actually at the beginning of the year. I think I was actually playing it over the transition between 21 and 22. And then I finished it in that year. It's a really fun, you can like sort of like catch them all, but you're really just building sort of like a team. And it is in the style of combat that is not the same, but reminiscent of something like Darkest Dungeon, where you have like they're in a line. You have 3 monsters in a line, and those monsters have various attacks that can hit different things. It's very much based on statuses too. So like you can buff a lot of, like buff your team, do a lot of buffs, and then do a lot of attacks. There's a lot of combos and stuff like, and you get like every monster as they level up has a skill tree. So like you're actually customizing skills and spending points on what skills you want to do and stuff. Like you want to be more offensive, do defensive stuff, or get like have a chance to poison on hit with all your moves, like that kind of stuff. Monster Sanctuary, to buy it physically is rather expensive. Like we're talking
On Game Pass.
Yeah, it's $70 or $80 to buy it physically, but it's on Game Pass. It's on digital stores. I played it on Switch. I do believe it's available on stuff like Steam. Obviously, it's on Game Pass. Sasha found it. I wanted more monster battle games, and I played this right before I played Arceus. I really enjoy this. Actually, this was my Christmas present to Brian and Jacob of the Bickering Bucks. I actually sent them the physical copies on Switch, and I knew they would love it because they're big Pokemon fans as well, even though we still have yet to fight. No one has fought me on Violet except for Chauncey, and well, we haven't fought a lot since he's been on shiny hunting. But yeah, Monster Sanctuary, it's got a decent story. It's okay. It's also a side-scrolling platformer-ish, like I would say in the style of something like a Metroidvania, where you got to go back and forth, unlock different things, different areas, that kind of stuff mixed on top of this monster battle system. And you can capture the monsters and put them on your team, and they are sentient, all of them. So
it sounds cool.
I might want to replay it at some point. I feel it's a little too short, but yeah, it was a cool game that I played earlier in the year, and it's one of the ones I bumped off the list. At one point, this was number 4, and I couldn't keep it there. So there we are.
Many good ones.
So I will say this. So that's all the ones we're going to talk about today. But I will say I wanted to put WoW on there with the new Dragonflight expansion, but I'm not going to. I'm playing it more, but I realize the reason why it's enjoyable is because I'm playing with people and we're actually doing content. It's not that WoW has gotten any better. It feels about the same. So, here we are. And it also feeds into my Diablo hype, because we talk about Diablo a lot while I'm playing WoW. So, that's the first part of our Game of the Year discussion. This is the less exciting part, because they are 10 through 6. What's up, Morg?
I was going to say, you know what would make WoW even better? Is if it was Diablo themed.
I mean, I feel like that's what Diablo 4 is doing, is taking a lot of those WoW mechanics. But I think I talked about that on this show last time.
You did.
So.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what they're doing. It's what it feels like. So, yep. Doing raiding tomorrow night. Gonna be in my 3rd raid. See if we can beat the bosses.
Party on!
I'm coming into that raid a whole 20 item levels better, which is a lot.
Good. Yeah.
I don't know. Was item level a thing when you were playing, Sasha?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
I didn't pay attention to it.
Yes, and I remember there being like third-party websites. I can't remember what it was, but like
they got
your character name and your character in your server, and you get your like gear level.
Yeah.
Because in the guild I was in, like you couldn't even go to certain
things.
raids,
yeah.
Unless you had a certain gear level. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my jewelry over here, minding my own business. You guys enjoy yourselves.
So I'm one of the newest people in the guild, so they've been trying to help me gear up. So some of the other guild people, not just my high school buddies that are in it, but like veteran members and leaders of the guild and stuff. They're like getting to know me and things. I was like, oh, that's cool, and because I've been the only one that's been social on there, and doing Mythic Plus dungeons with them and stuff. And this one guy, we rolled a necklace, and there was like between the two of us, like which one would it be better for? As I don't know, it was maybe not a necklace, it was a cape or some gear, and its item level was like 390 something or something. It's really good in comparison to what I had. And then the other guy's like, oh, I'll just let him have it. You know, he probably needs it more than I do. I was like, cool, yeah, it's totally an upgrade. So I put it on. I was like, cool, that made my item level 387 or whatever I got to. And then he was like, oh, man, that put his item level above mine. Like, I should have kept it for myself. Like, it was funny because, like, they just expected me to be so far behind. And I'm, like, keeping up. I'm, like, near the top end of the people in the guild. So I was like, yeah, no, I've been playing a lot. I've been paying attention. So
putting the time in.
But like I said earlier, I'm not going to be doing more than probably, if I play tonight, it'll be just to hang out with my high school buddies who might be online when we're done. Like that would be it. Like I'm not going in there to grind because I'm not doing that. But who knows? I might play more God of War instead. I kind of want to just finish the game and move on because it's long and I want to see the story. So we'll see, because I got a whole day off tomorrow too, not doing anything else. So but yeah, so next week we're going to be doing the rest of our lists. So 5 4 3 2 1, but we're going to be starting off with a dishonorable mention, which like I said isn't going to be Sunbreak for me, but it was very close. It was in that slot for a long time, but then I really thought about it. I was like, how can you dishonorable mention something you put like hundreds of hours into and enjoyed most of those hundreds of hours? there's probably a good 30 or 20 hours that I didn't enjoy. And in comparison, that's not a lot. So, Dishonorable Mention will be leading it off, and then of course we'll do the rest of them. Ace will be with us next week, hopefully. He was on baby duty today and couldn't join, and got to take care of the kid. That is paramount. So if he's here, we'll hear his 10 through 6 as well, and then we'll start through ours. So, any other things you guys wanted to touch on, or is that it for tonight?
That's it for me.
Okay. Didn't hear anything, Morg, but I got the idea.
Oh, I just said I'm pretty good.
Okay. All right.
Yay, lag spikes. Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you, Discord. We love you.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for Discord, this show wouldn't be possible. Or I wouldn't have.
That's true. That's very, very true.
So, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us at HunterSubPod on Twitter and Twitch. Be sure to join the Discord. We've been kind of quiet, but it's been the holidays because we're doing things. Although you'll see me on there playing World of Warcraft a lot. That's what happened. You can just see it right there on there for some reason. But I don't know why it shows up for PlayStation games now too. I've noticed that. Like if I'm playing God of War, it'll show up on Discord. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. The only thing that doesn't show up is good old games. So, even though it's linked, because you can link your accounts. So, thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Take care.